Welcome to Fridays for Fundraising. In the next 5 minutes, you're going to learn one step you can take before you leave the office today that can move fundraising forward for your small nonprofit. Hi, I'm Kelly, founder of From Scratch Fundraising, where we help nonprofit leaders raise more dough without burning anything. Every Friday, I'm here to serve up one bite-sized fundraising assignment that you can tackle in about an hour. Think of it as your weekly recipe for sustainable fundraising success. No overwhelm, just actionable steps that actually move the needle. Before we kick it off, I want to say thanks to DonorBox for making this podcast. For making this podcast project possible, packed with features designed to streamline your fundraising efforts, increase donations, and make giving simple and fast for your donors. DonorBox requires no setup fees or contracts. Visit donorbox.org to get started immediately. DonorBox is helping you help others. This week, we're going to talk about a framework to clean up the data in your donor CRM. It is my experience that August is usually a pretty slow month for getting in touch with donors, and a lot of organizations aren't necessarily doing a lot at this time period. I think the exception is education nonprofits that are gearing up for the school year. But for a lot of us, August is a slow month, and this is a great time to take a minute to clean up your donor CRM. Often I see organizations avoid cleaning up their donor CRM because it feels so overwhelming. But spending the time now to fix it will help you keep it maintained long term. It's one of those things that spend time on it now and you'll probably save time on it later. It's one of those things. But here's why it's so critical you keep your fundraising CRM up to date. One, from the donor perspective, making sure that everything's up to date, that you do not have duplicate accounts for your donors. This is something I like to scan for frequently, and a lot of CRMs have built in duplicate systems so that they can help you root out those duplicates. That's really critical because if you reach out to a donor and say, hey, it shows you didn't give this year and they actually did, and it's in a duplicate account, that's not great. We don't want to do that, right? So from the donor facing perspective, we're better able to communicate with our donors when their profiles are up to date in our fundraising CRMs. It's also important to have everything updated in the CRMs because it helps with major gifts and upgrades. When we know a lot about the donor, when we're logging interactions with our donors into the CRM, it helps us see everything in one place. And that's something that I think a lot of nonprofits undervalue, is that ability to see everything, the whole comprehensive picture of your engagements with that donor in the CRM. But it's really critical to have it there so that you know how to target your donors and what they're interested in. The last thing is, it's an emergency backstop for institutional knowledge. We operate in nonprofits as if everyone will always be there forever and always, and stuff happens. People get sick. People have to drop everything to care for family members. There is a reality to that we often don't want to acknowledge in nonprofits. And when your fundraising CRM is up to date, when you're consistently putting donor information in, notes from donor meetings, making sure emails you've sent to them are logged in the system, it means if something happens to one of your staff members or board members or whoever, anybody touching fundraising, if the whole truth of your fundraising program and your donor engagements is in your fundraising CRM, that institutional knowledge is salvageable when someone has to leave. And we've got to stop pretending that that doesn't happen. All right. So those are some major reasons why I think it's critical to keep your CRM up to date and make sure the data is clean. So here's how I do it when I step into a new nonprofit and we need a ton of cleanups, or we haven't been logging interactions. I look at how many donor accounts do we have and how long would it take for us to clean up the accounts if we reviewed 10 accounts each week to scan for duplicates, making sure all the donations are logged, all the relationships are linked, households or connections are put together, and everything that we've done with that donor is logged in their profile. That's not overwhelming to do 10 of those a week. And if you have 300 accounts, which is a pretty average number I see for smaller nonprofits, you'll need 30 weeks to get that all done. So if you start it now, that's a cleanup that'll be done around January. If that's too long of a time period, you want it done shorter, or maybe you have more accounts, what would it look like if you did 20 accounts each week? Often a donor CRM cleanup feels like an overwhelming project, so nonprofits put it off, but it ends up not being very much work and totally pays off for organizations when we package it down and down and down into just a small number of accounts that we need to fix each week. And if you work on this project and start updating your donor CRM, you will be absolutely ready for a very cool session that I have coming up. So, do you think your organization is too new or too small to attract major gifts? Do you think you don't have time for it on top of everything else, or you really just don't have the understanding to know how major gifts work? On September 18th, I'm hosting a workshop to teach your organization how to find, cultivate, solicit, and steward major gifts for small shops. I'll teach you all of my tips and tricks to make it simple, systematized, and strategic so that you can get those 4, 5, 6-figure gifts that transform your organization, starting with the donor base and the staff you already have. Go to fromscratchfundraising.com/majorgifts to register for this workshop. The workshop is sponsored by my friends over at DonorBox, so I can bring you all of this great training for free. So I encourage you to sign up right now. Your homework, take a look at your database. How up to date does it feel? Do you need a major cleanup or a minor tidy up? Now decide how many accounts you need to review. How many weeks do you have to get it done? Then divide it up so you can figure out how many you need to do each week. Then decide how long you'll need to dedicate to get it done. Then schedule it out. I acknowledge that's a bigger job than I usually give you, but it's important you at least take a look and see what needs doing to make your CRM work better and more how you want it to be. And if that feels impossible, give me a shout. I love a database project, and that is part of what is included in my Nurture and Grow program. So that's it. That's your assignment for this week. Remember, fundraising success isn't guesswork. It's following the recipe. I'll meet you here next week with a little more information on lead generation.
Now go make the world a better place.